Moses, one of the most influential characters of the biblical discourse, a motivated leader who was responsible for leading the Israelites out of captivity. We all have heard the story perhaps 1,000 times, but after reviewing it from an Islamic perspective, can we surely say that the biblical data matches exactly with the Quranic discourse? Well, let's start off by analyzing the setup of this character named Amram. In Arabic, this name is known as Imran. To the household of Imran were born Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. We know very little regarding the life of Moses when it comes to Moses subsidizing himself with the Egyptians and the family of Pharaoh. We don't know if he was a polytheist, atheist, monotheist. We are quite uncertain of the consideration that the Bible only gives us the data of Moses from a prophetic perspective. When we read in the Bible about how Moses had approached Pharaoh in the first place with regards to a request, and that request was specifically asking him to free the Israelite slaves from captivity, from which Pharaoh had refused, this story makes more sense than the Quranic discourse, which disagrees with the biblical story and points out that Moses had actually gone to Pharaoh with the message of believing in Allah. Now, from a very rational perspective, wouldn't it make more sense that Moses goes back to Pharaoh after many, many years and asks him to free the slaves rather than him going back and asking him to believe in a God, which is absurd and completely pointless when you think about it. I mean, Moses hardly even knows at that point regarding what God's plan is, yet alone he would go back into a land where he knows there are different Egyptian religions and gods whom the people scarcely believe in, and they would be willing to kill him. In fact, they wouldn't even take a second to rip his head off with a sword at that point once he challenges Pharaoh's superstitious belief. If we further continue with the biblical story, we do find that Moses was handed over the tablets with the Ten Commandments written on it. And not to forget, there are various wars that took place between the freed Israelites led by Moses and various other polytheist groups, such as Amalekites. We read about various places, punishments, hardships, successes, and the failures of these Israelites wandering in the desert. And after Moses dies, we read about how Joshua rises and becomes his successor. He fulfills the prophecy of Deuteronomy 18:18. Now, can we say the same about the Quran? No, because the Quran only mentions some bits and pieces of the story, and considering how important the Ten Commandments are to Jews and Christians, the Quran has no idea with that. The Quran even fails to mention the importance of the tabernacle, the importance of the Ark of Covenant, the brave warriors in the name of Joshua and Caleb. Therefore, it seems as if someone in the 7th century Arabia just heard a few fairy tales about Moses and then thought of reciting it to other people to convince them for a political union for his personal gains. Think about it. This fraud had basically represented these people a story which might be relatable to his own tale, where he could lead the innocent polytheists out of Arabian desert to other lands to gain victory over other lands. But again, I have a very serious question to all Abrahamic faith believers. If God provided Moses with an ability in his wand to specifically perform miracles and split the Dead Sea, then how come using the same wand he couldn't kill Pharaoh and free these Israelites himself? Now that's food for thought.